It's a great pleasure to be here. And while we're not part of the academic environment, we both have been very much in touch with this medium because we both worked on e-learning projects. We're IT experts, but together with Professor Juguranu, actually, we've worked for me a little under 20 years, Ștefan a little over 20 years in large-scale e-learning projects. So we have this first-hand experience, and while we are IT specialists, we're very, very used to this collaborative environments in e-learning and education, but also in the business sector.
Hi, I'm Ștefan Morcov. Nice to be here. And it's weird when Professor Juguranu presents me with a doctor. He's so nice. I just got my PhD 2 weeks ago from Leuven University. And it is relevant, but I will go on it a bit later. So I've been working with Alexandra and with Professor Juguranu and with Olympius, by the way. Hello, nice to see you again for quite a few years already, too many. And it would be nice to make this a dialogue, maybe, like a workshop. We have some ideas, and these are the results, actually, what we are putting here, what we wrote on the paper and what we have on the slides. It's a bit the results of what we've been doing in e-learning during the past 3 years, mostly projects for the European Commission with Tremend. It's also based on the experience that I've had in general with the education and my experience with Leuven for my PhD.
So I will start with the abstract of our paper. The point that we want to make is that collaborative technologies have been here for the longest time. We've had digital tools readily available for very many years. They work, we could collaborate, we could work together while in different locations. Me and Ștefan have been working together while in different cities for quite a few years now. However,
COVID was an interestingly disruptive event. It changed everything, and we knew it is coming, but we didn't see it. I mean, I've been working remotely for 13 years. I've been working with and managing distributed remote collaboration teams, working for the European Commission. We have currently projects in ISPRA with the Joint Research Center in Seville, in Luxembourg. We worked in Copenhagen. I'm based in Brussels. Most of our colleagues in the delivery are in Bucharest, but also in Ukraine and stuff like this. So I know how it is to work remotely. We've been doing it for 13 years. And we had the tools, they were here, but this pandemics changed the paradigm. It forced everybody to go on site. And interestingly, and this was one of the main topics of my PhD, I will always come back to this because it passions me, it's opportunities, it's positive complexity. The pandemics came and complicated our lives, made it completely chaotic, in the chaotic domain, according to Snowden's domains for decision making. The fourth one, the most complicated, the most complex one. But what we have there, and a lot of the authors that are working in research in complexity, in complex systems, and Snowden in decision making, are saying is that in that area, now I was supposed to wake up. Come on. They're saying that there are also opportunities, and this is what I looked at, and this is what we look at and what we are seeing. First, for collaboration, working remotely, if you are one person remote and everybody else is working in the same location, that's a disadvantage. But COVID equalized us. So it doesn't matter anymore if you are in the same building or not. Everybody is equal because they are online. You can be 2,000 kilometers or 2 kilometers away from the university. Everybody is equal. That's an opportunity. And another, which was really interesting, and I noticed also personally, working also in university and with the European Commission, it forced us to go online. I mean, we've been having these tools for 20 years and we did not use them. We had Zoom, Google Meet, we had e-learning, and the level of usage was like Minimal, 3%. How much did your universities use e-learning until now? In Leuven, pretty much nothing. I mean, pretty much nothing. Nobody would go online to do a video session. Nobody. Well, 2 years ago, from nothing, we went to everything. And this is an opportunity.
It's like a huge pilot project, actually. We're all part of this pilot project, piloting 100% online environments. Personally, I have a master's degree, which was 100% online, and I finished it in 2015. So it was doable before, but now we're all part of this. I have a nice slide here about skeuomorphism and anti-skeuomorphism. The idea is that we have this tendency to try to approximate a digital environment to what we already know from a physical environment. And this has been going on since forever when creating software. So it's what the usability researchers call affordances. When you see a door handle, you know you have to press it to open the door. When you see a knob, you know you have to turn it. We know what to do with objects around us. So when creating digital environments, the first step was trying to find similarities with the real environment we're used to. So this has been going on since the first graphical user interfaces, with the floppy disk for saving and recycle bin for throwing away unused files. We have this parallel with files and folders, like you would do in a library. So skeuomorphism, most people heard of this concept when Apple launched the first iPhone. I have here some screenshots from the first apps from Apple. So you have the Notes app, which looks like a notebook, the alarm clock, where you can turn dials. So everyone knows how to use this interface because it looks like something from my everyday life. The Books app looked just like a library. So what we do is trying to assimilate with what we already know, but this is limiting because the digital version of all these tools are so much more than just that. We have here a very nice example from Twitter from quite a few years ago. So it's a very famous tweet from 2016 with the university lecturers surprised finding out that a group of students took notes in Google Doc, and that by doing so, they collaboratively helped each other to understand things in real time. So one would ask questions and the others would reply, what did she mean by this? I don't understand that. And then someone else replies, we actually do this during our meetings. It's like our usual practice. When we take notes during a meeting, in the meeting notes, I write a bullet and I put in the list of participants and I say, I didn't get his position. And someone else comes in and fills in the name. Sorry, I missed the last line. We always talk in the document. We help each other create the best possible version. Traditionally, how you would do this is create the first draft and then send it to everyone else in cascade. So I am doing the first paper, the draft. I am sending it over to someone else to do a review. Someone else will put in their inputs. And after 1 week, you have the full document. Working together, the amount of collaboration increases complexity, but at the same time, once you get used to this kind of tools, they're simple, they're easily manageable, and they make our lives easier. Not by being identical to face-to-face collaboration, but by really adding up with additional features, which are really not available for face-to-face collaboration. we have here a diagram from Microsoft with the digital overload in Microsoft 365 tools in the last year. What we can see from here is that
if
while...
I may make an introduction to this, I was surprised by this study, because, and this is a very interesting one, I urge you to have a look at it. It's a Microsoft study published 3 weeks ago in the Nature, in one of the most prestigious scientific journals in the world. It's done by Microsoft guys on Microsoft organization. What is amazing about it is that we've been looking for 1.5 years at the impact of digital collaboration on our society, and we saw that it is more efficient. You save a lot of time on travel and traffic price. I'm in Rotterdam now. Yesterday I came from Brussels to Rotterdam, and you know, I'm saving a lot of time and plane tickets, and it's an opportunity that I can join you today. So also for the organization of events, if you notice, online events are more rigorously organized. You know when they start, you know when they finish, and you try to stick to it. Whereas in a face-to-face meeting, you never stick to the time or to the schedule. This is also something interesting. But there is also something which we felt, it was pronounced in a few papers earlier, but this is the first time we have a rigorous proof. It's the overhead of communication. We all felt that we are missing something, that the social interaction, that the interaction is more difficult with students, with collaborators, and it's in the non-verbal communication. And we are using skeuomorphism features, those that were presented by Alexandra earlier, to compensate for this decrease in the interactivity and communication quality, right? But this is the first proof. This diagram that you see here is the first proof that it is true that we have the decrease in the quality of communication. So what Microsoft did, and they published a short version for the public, but also a very scientific and lots of numbers. They took 150,000 Microsoft employees and they tracked their activity in their online and collaboration platforms, in Teams, chat, what is their tool, Skype, and stuff like this, for the last 3-4 years. And they compared how much communication overhead an average Microsoft employee has before the pandemics and after. So it's a huge study, long amount of time, huge quantity of data, and the results are what you see on the screen. Alexandra was trying to present when I interrupted her.
I actually wanted to ask you to present this slide, because I know you have very strong feelings about it, and I know you could make more points than I did.
Two numbers that I really urge you to read the press release. There is also a press release from Microsoft on this one, but there are two numbers which would be interesting to note. They discovered that the average Microsoft employee spends 50% more time with messaging than before, and they write 66% more documents. This is communication overhead. This is what we are trying to do to compensate the lack of face-to-face communication. So 50% more messages.
I can personally confirm that all 5-minute meetings with colleagues running into each other turned into half-an-hour meetings on Zoom. So yes, we all have this overhead, and sometimes it's a lot harder to convey the right message. But this is not impossible to overcome, and I think the social factor is actually the one lacking. But communication-wise and collaboration-wise, these tools bring a lot more to win. We wanted to also include...
An example of the opportunities that we've been seeing is comes from this is one of the projects that we are running for the European Commission for DG Education, actually, and DG Employment. It's the European Platform for Adult Learning. It's a PALE. You can find it online. We launched a new version of this platform. When was it? In March this year. So this project has been going on for 6 or 7 years. It's the pan-European community of adult learning professionals. And for us, we are running this contract, and it's, for me, it's I'm passionate about this because it's also an example of a complex project. There are a lot of components which are not only numerous but also varied. I mean, we have the web component, mobile application. We do content, educational content, and we have an yearly event, for instance. And it was amazing to see that last year we have 5,000 participants in the annual conference, annual EPALE conference. Well, usually, how many people do you have in a European conference? 300, 400. In a huge European conference, you would get 500 people. Well, last year we had 5,000 online.
You cannot really accommodate easily 5,000 people in one city.
Incredibly difficult to do it face-to-face with 5,000 people. And Professor Juguranu mentioned also the same opportunity for this conference. So I like to say that this is an opportunity. Similarly, there was another project that I was thinking this morning, if it is a good case study or not. It's the EU Academy, it's the e-learning platform of the European Commission. We launched it last year. Well, this is, we noticed also with public servants a switch from not being used to do digital collaboration and stuff. You know, we were doing video conferences with the phone. And when I was saying, can we put a video webcam to look at each other? They were saying no, because we have to book a room with video facilities 3 weeks in advance. Well, in 1 month last year, this changed and the entire commission went online. And in 9 months, they signed with us and we executed and we went online with EU Academy, which you can also find online. It's the learning platform of the European Commission. It is used both internally as well as for other projects of the Commission. It is a Moodle-based platform that we developed last year. We are still upgrading it. So again, it's a huge disruption, moving from we don't really do training online to, okay, now we have to do it. And we will never get back on this. And what is interesting in the conclusions that we want to go from the initial observations, and I love the concept of skeuomorphism. No, I did not know about it until Alexandra told it to me. She gave me a lot of nice information and theories. What is interesting is to take these and to these theoretical concepts and get back and apply them in practice, in face-to-face. I think this is the next slide. Oh, it's not the next slide. It's the one after the others. Please, Alexandra.
I'm not sure what slide you're referring to, but in any case, our proposal is to take a more structured approach on digital collaboration and try to improve the experience for users from 3 different perspectives. For once, it's about the signal, so the message you aim to send and how you convey it. You should alternate between slides and your face. Using video and having your image is stronger than using slides. You should try as much as possible to look at the camera, because this way users feel like you are looking towards them. If you are reading or looking at slides, you lose the contact, and this is very difficult even in a conference room. And here I think our best expert is Professor Juguranu, who gives the best presentations I have ever seen, honestly, especially in a face-to-face environment. It's very difficult to feel your audience. So we should really try and improve this. We should try as much as possible to look at the camera, but also to have the camera at eye level. If you have notes you need to read, you should place them right underneath the camera. This way the user gets the impression that you're still looking at the camera, although you're looking just 5 centimeters below. As much as possible, interactivity should also be improved. but here interactivity does not refer to having interactive elements on your screen as much as having interaction with the audience. So as much as possible, the learning experience should be including questions and answers, quizzes, polls, tools engaging users, using features like raising hands and voting online. Most digital collaboration tools allow this, so we can ask users to vote, say yes or no. I'm now looking at reactions in Zoom. So all of these can and should be used to improve the experience. And then distribution is specifically referring to what Ștefan was mentioning. With digital collaboration, you have the opportunity to address a much broader audience. So you can talk to 5,000 people all at once and not just limit the audience to your usual classroom of 20 children or students.
So we have several layers of best practices on digital learning, education, collaboration. First of all, we have the traditional best practices for any presentation. Like, for instance, the standard one, never read slides, or don't put too much text, the 5-5-5 rule, maximum 5 bullets and so on. And also the face. This is what are we doing with this when we are moving to online? We are actually applying skeuomorphism principles. So we are taking what we are doing in the classroom, in face-to-face presentations and so on, and we are moving them online. There are certain challenges that we need to compensate online. For instance, this fact that we don't see the other guy. You have a small window in the corner, but see what Alexandra did now. Now you don't have a small window with the eyes in the corner. You have them in the middle. And the master presenters, I've been last year in a communication course organized by Leuven University. What they are saying is, don't put the slides there. People need to see you, not the slides. So this is how we are trying to take the best practices from the physical world and put them online. Another one is eye contact. Actually, I'm not respecting my own advice here because I just lost my webcam. So I'm using a laptop webcam at this moment. It doesn't look really nice. But when you are face to face with a person, you look in his eyes. You don't look somewhere else. I'm looking at my slides and the camera is here. No, I'm looking at you. Eye contact. These are simple, and this is the example of skeuomorphism applied to digital communication and education. But then you have the plus things. For instance, in participation, let's suppose you have 400 children in the 400 students in a classroom or in an auditorium. How do you interact with 400 people? It's impossible, basically. It's a unidirectional, one direction communication. But in a digital conference, you do have in the digital environment, you do have tools that you do not have in the digital class, in the physical classroom. You have surveys, you have moods, you have the chat. So there are ways to engage tens, hundreds of people at the same time, which not only compensate for the lack of face-to-face physical contact, but also add additional stuff.
So to sum it all up, our conclusions are that while this abrupt move to online is a huge challenge for everyone, it can also be an opportunity. This brings opportunities in terms of allowing remote participation. So this means decreased costs. Instead of all of us traveling to one city to be together and renting a large conference room and paying for hotels and everything else, we're all here wherever we are in the world at this specific moment, and we can be together. We have diversified collaboration tools that bring a lot more to the experience than the usual face-to-face. So we allow students or participants to collaborate between themselves, to exchange opinions, and to build up on the ideas. There are a lot of additions that can be made. Most video collaboration tools right now support features such as automated subtitles. Not in all languages, unfortunately, but English is readily supported, French, German, Italian. For these languages, we already have this. 5 years ago, this was a bit science fiction. We can generate automatic transcripts from conversations and real-time translation and many other features using natural language processing algorithms that very much improve and enrich the learning experience. So from my opinion, this distance is really affecting students and especially younger students by limiting social interaction, which is very important for their evolution as functioning adults in society. But otherwise, from a learning perspective, this does not have to be really limiting if we make the difference. This is all from us. So if you have questions, we're more than happy to answer.
It was fascinating. I love you guys. Okay. If you have questions, dear colleagues, I'm looking straight to you now as Ștefan teach me, so please.
By the way,
I congratulate you on your wonderful presentation. It was really very inspiring to see the interplay, the use of human face and slides and so on. I liked it.
Thank you. We try to practice what we preach, you know. And by the way, the tool that I was using to alternate slides and face is called Prezi Video, and it has a free of charge version that I'm actually using now. So you can use it as readily available. Ștefan was also proposing other tools he's more experienced with. There's a tool from Logitech and an open source tool which I don't know the name of. But
I'm using a lot of OBS. It's open source, but it's quite professional, and it's a video streaming and editing tool. You can combine 20 streams from 3 video cameras, 2 screens, 1 document, and so on, and also 20 channels audio. The problem that I've seen with these, and I am trying to be quite careful when to use them or not, is that they are not always compatible with all the video conferencing platforms. For instance, Microsoft Teams has a great idea that it resizes your window when it thinks it is best, which conflicts sometimes to some of these tools. It is quite important to test beforehand that the tools work, but everybody knows that already.
Please tell me, is OBS compatible with Zoom?
I've been using it greatly with Zoom. It works perfectly. OBS and Zoom are a perfect match. You know where it doesn't work so well? With Teams. Really, because Teams resizes the screen when it wants. It decides that it wants to focus on your face, but you are not projecting your face. And then the resize is weird. And Google Meet also has some problem of automated resizing. With Zoom, it is perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Ștefan, Alexandra, can you share with us some links?
Yes, I will add them to the chat. They're also referred to in the paper, not with links, but the names are there. So I will add them right now in the chat.
Thank you.